Worst fuel scarcity in Nigeria's history. Highest fuel price hike in Nigeria's history. The most hidden and ridiculous oil deals ever. Nigeria's oil sector may just be in its darkest moments as the current leadership of the NNPC, the sole regulator of the sector, steers it through a dark path that heads to nowhere known or visible. Many hidden lies and untold truths are wrapped in secret deals by the NNPC, backed by the government, and sadly, Nigerians bear the pains. Dangote Refinery and NNPC secret deal, a conspiracy to create fuel scarcity and price hike? Part 1. Nigeria's fuel scarcity and price hike took a terrible turn early July in 2004 when suddenly the NNPC, which holds the sole right to import petrol, ran out of the product. The private depot owners who buy directly from the NNPC and resell to independent private marketers, filling station owners, citing the fuel scarcity, increased their petrol price from 630 naira to 720 naira. So independent petroleum retail marketers who are filling station owners refused to buy from the private depot owners at the new hiked price. They feared that Nigerians wouldn't be able to buy at the cost and they wouldn't make as much profit. Also, they started hoarding the reserve they had in their filling stations. The ones who were still selling reduced the quantity they sold and sharply increased the price to over 900 naira per litre. Of course, all accusing fingers point to the NNPC. To save face, NNPC told Nigerians in August 2024 that rain, lightning, and thunderstorm delayed petrol vessels from reaching Nigeria. Hence, the scarcity of petrol in the country. Well, Nigerians wouldn't take NNPC serious with such comical and childish tales by the moonlight. The events that followed that statement exposed the lies. NNPC, as the sole importer of fuel, sells crude to international oil companies, IOCs, or export for refining. And when the petrol is refined and shipped to Nigeria, they pay the landing cost and distribute to private depot owners for local consumption. When petrol lands in Nigeria, it is often at a very high price. The cost is hugely determined by dollar rates since it's imported in dollars. The current landing cost is around 1,117 naira. This is far higher than the amount NNPC sells at its filling stations and to private depot owners, which is around 600 naira or less. Apparently, there's a difference of 483 naira between the landing cost and the amount NNPC sells the petrol in Nigeria. That's 1,117 naira to 600 naira. Who pays that balance? Well, the payment of that balance is what we know as fuel subsidy. The NNPC pays the balance. It is interesting that at first, when Tinubu came to power and declared that fuel subsidy is gone, the NNPC denied paying subsidy. According to them, there was nothing like fuel subsidy anymore. Their lies stood until they were challenged in September 2024. Reports revealed that the NNPC secretly paid subsidy while lying to the public that there was no such thing as subsidy. In August 2023 alone, they paid a crazy amount of 169 billion naira for subsidy. Even with the report, they still denied that they paid subsidy. When more evidence eventually surfaced, the NNPC bowed and admitted that they had been paying subsidy. What is interesting is that they tagged it under recovery and not subsidy. But isn't 6 the same thing as half a dozen? All through the period that the fuel subsidy lasted, NNPC sold crude and made huge profits, yet they are owed international cargoes. That is, those who shipped the refined crude to Nigeria. The money they owe the cargoes is called the landing costs. In fact, as at December 2023, they declared that they made net profit of 3.29 trillion naira for the year 2023. This is a huge increase of 700 billion naira or 28% from their profit in 2022, which stood at 2.54 trillion naira. Yet, the same year, they owed international oil traders up to $6.8 billion over importation of petrol. This means that NNPC is broke and Nigeria is making no single profit from her crude. Rather than make profit, Nigeria is owing a debt of over 3 trillion naira for products or service we didn't consume. NNPC still denied until their half-baked audited report was made public and it was discovered that they didn't remit a dime in the Federation account. It took NNPC several rebuffed lies, which they told with hard, straight face, to admit that they are broke and are owing $6.8 billion. So they were too broke to import petrol. In October 2022, NNPC claimed to have signed a deal with OVH, a company owned by Wale Tinubu, the favorite nephew of Aso Rock's Tinubu. According to them, the deal would see NNPC Retail take over the filling stations of OVH, numbering 380, to help NNPC distribute fuel to Nigerians more. However, it would later turn to be untrue. OVH never owned close to that number of filling stations. Strikingly, in July 2023, about a month after Tinubu took over office, in a mysterious turn of events, the management of OVH took over operations of the NNPC Retail. The headquarters of the NNPC Retail in Abuja was relocated to that of OVH in Lagos. This validated the suspicion that OVH took charge of the NNPC Retail instead. That deal remains shady and is kept secret from Nigerians till today. See Chapter 2 for continuation of more scary revelations.
Free Life Media.